YouTube, it's your girl Honey. Today we're talking about having Chiron in your 9th house. Now just to clarify, I'm looking very pale today. I refused to put the light on because I was looking like a ghost. I am on this crazy diet right now. I'm going to the gym every single day, and I'm taking care of my health right now because my Jupiter is in my 6th house, or it's transiting my 6th house, and my health literally went downhill the minute Jupiter went into Scorpio. And I'm literally just like trying to work things out because I've not been well for months. Like, it's shocking. Like, I don't know, my health is actually really good, and for me to be constantly sick and I'm not sure what the fuck is going on, you know, it's concerning for me. So I thought I would start by sorting out my food intake and obviously my fitness. So I joined the gym and I've just started working out a bit more. So that is why I look like this. Anyway, we are doing Chiron in the 9th house. I've got the 12th house to do last, and that is it. Chiron series is completely finished. What is Chiron? Chiron is an asteroid. It's known as the wounded healer. It is our childhood traumas, what pretty much molds us into who we are as adults today. We can either let it completely wound us for the rest of our lives, or we can let it heal us by us learning our traumas and starting to heal ourselves by healing others. What is the 9th house? The 9th house is home to Sagittarius. It's the ruler of Jupiter. It is the house that is of higher education, higher learning, travels, religion, spirituality. Okay, so what is it like having your Chiron in the 9th house? What kind of person would this individual be? Now, I always say this, but yes, I know someone who has their Chiron in the 9th house. I know 2 people actually. One is a child and one is an adult, a good friend of mine. Alright, so I'm able to witness how my friend is living his life based on having his Chiron in his 9th house at present. I'm witnessing how a child is dealing with his Chiron in the 9th house at present now, right? So anyway, as a child, what kind of environment would you have been brought up in? You would have definitely been brought up in a religious type of environment, or a place which is an environment which is like structured in like a cult type of way. A cult could be someone like practicing extremisms, religious, like for example, people can be raised as Christians, they go to church every Sundays, you know, but that's all they do, right? But then you have other types of Christians that kind of raise their families in a cult type of environment, and they tend to refer back to their religion in order to parent their kids a lot of the time, and it can definitely have a negative effect on their children. So, you know, this child might have been forced to practice their religion, been forced to go to their holy building. You know, it could be any type of religion. Their religion would have been kind of forced upon them, or that's how it would have felt to them as children, and growing up in a cult type of environment. Now, when I watch this child who's growing up, you know, he's got his Chiron in the 9th house, and how I see him now is, you know, your Chiron is usually to do with karma from your parents, right? And to watch him in his environment, I see that a lot of the time his parents are very afraid to let him go and explore into other people's, other cultures, or be independent, you know, or you're not allowed to go over there, you can't do this and you can't do that. And it doesn't have to always be like, oh well, I can't do that because I'm in this type of religion or in this type of cult. It can purely be based on how your parents are being towards you. So you might not be able to be a child who's allowed to play with those type of people. You know, they could be of a different class. It could even be like a racial background. Like, your parents may not want you to fuck with anybody that is of a particular race even. You know, they will hold you in this bubble, in this house. And what your Chiron does It makes you feel like, I don't want to be in this bubble. Like, you start to question your surroundings. And, you know, usually most people tend to escape, you know, as they grow older. In their teen years, they tend to grow up and realize, wow, this is not what I want. But it can definitely bring the anxiety coming up into your early teen years, where, you know, you've been brought up in this bubble. You haven't really traveled a lot. It can bring anxiety to long distance traveling. Long distance can be as far as, you know, going to a whole different country. It can be going to another city in your country, in your, you know, across your town. It could be long distance like that. And what's funny is, I actually know a guy, real good friend of mine, and I met him when I was 15. And it's crazy because 9th house Chiron people, these people are most likely to stay in their mother's house for long, like for most of their life, especially if they've got strong Cancer placements as well, you know. If they're like a Cancer moon as well, very close to their mother. Having your Chiron in the 9th house will definitely make you feel the anxiety to travel out and to explore the world, right? So someone who would have this placement, when it comes to traveling, going on your travels, you know, you might want to go out with friends. And the thing is, they have the anxiety, so this person may never actually leave the town that they were actually born into, right? They can be like that. Or they can be that person, okay, let me get out of this. Let me try and travel and just see the world, right? I'm not used to being around different kind of people, different environments, etc., etc. Now, this person might travel and they might go to another country, a completely foreign land to what they're used to. They're used to being in the UK, being in America, you know, very westernized. But then they want to travel to, let's say they want to go to the Congo, right, in Africa, and visit the Pan tribe. And they are a tribe of like really small people, like tiny people, and the Smurfs are actually based off their people. They're very small people, and they were the first to discover the mushrooms. But that's a whole another situation, right? So imagine they want to go and travel and see these people and visit this kind of culture. This kind of person, it's like they're curious to find out about it, but a lot of the time they can be greeted in a very unfriendly type of way, and it can put them off wanting to explore even more because they've had that bad experience. Like, these people are not very good with dealing with foreign people. You know, their Chiron is in the 9th house. House of travels, house of foreigners is in that 9th house. So for them to want to travel, that having to explore different cultures would really throw them off. For example, my friend, he has his Chiron in the 9th house, and he's been to the Caribbean only. And the thing is, he is Caribbean, that's where his culture is. But he will not date, he will not travel to anywhere that isn't from where he comes from. So that could be the UK, or it could be the Caribbean. He will not step outside that barrier, you know. And that's a shame, it's unfortunate, but this is what it does. This is what Chiron in the 9th house does to you. It just makes you very, I'm scared. It's like, it's the fear. Having your 9th house, having your Chiron in the 9th house, when it comes to your higher education, this can also be like a struggle for you. You know, you might have had some minor issues in school, that's more of a 3rd house thing. But then you go to your 9th house, which would be college, university, you know, coming towards the end of your high school years. This is where you're going to have a lot of struggle because, you know, some people may take years, like, to complete a degree. They may be, they keep on failing. They may have to keep on retaking. They may have to keep on changing because they're not sure what they want to do. It can just it can hinder your experience of having your, it can hinder your experience of passing your, of getting your qualifications. And also, it's like when you do attend your lectures, you can kind of feel like, oh, I can't be bothered to be here. I just don't want to be here, I'm tired. And it can cause friction with your teachers. You know, you just feel like, I don't fit in here. This isn't my scene. Or, you know, there will be all types of different excuses a Chiron in the 9th house person would possibly give to not wanting to complete their degree, you know. But the thing is, it's just a lot harder for these people to complete their degree than it is for a different Chiron placement person. Chiron in the 9th house will take forever to do a degree, or if they don't do it, or if they don't go to higher learning, it's probably because it's the fear of failing, the fear of the stress, the anxiety, the pressure, and maybe even the financial debts as well. It's just the fear as a whole. Right, now it's going to get a little bit deep. Okay, if you're below 18, please do not watch. I'm joking, but for real, this is where it gets really deep, right? Because you know, people that are raised in environments which try and keep you in a bubble, in a cult type of place, can definitely like really give you some major issues as you grow up. So if you've got any malefic planets nearby, conjunct, especially if your Chiron is literally within 4 degrees of the 8th house, like close by the 8th house, you might have your Mars in the 8th or your Saturn in the 8th, and it's right next to your Chiron, coming up to your Chiron. If you've got conjunctions, squaring, you know, squares as well to these planets, but also Pluto, which is, it's just deep. You know, any of these 3 planets that are close by can definitely have an effect on, you know, your sexual experiences, especially coming from a 9th house placement, 9th house Chiron background. You could, and this is not me saying everybody, okay, but this is if you carry these squares, etc. But you may have experienced some type of sexual assault, or even physical abuse from someone of a religious figure. Like, you know, when you go to, like, oh my god, you know when you hear of those priests that have sexually assaulted young boys, it will be a situation, that's a Chiron in the 9th house squaring their Mars, Pluto, conjunct Mars or Pluto, Saturn in the 8th kind of situation. You know, this is what you need to look out for, things like that. And that could definitely make a 9th house Chiron person feel like, well, this is not religion, you know, why is this happening to me? You know, if these people are making me feel so bad, like, this doesn't feel like it's normal. And this is where Chiron kind of makes you step more into spirituality, because these people tend to, because they've had such a horrible upbringing in religion, they tend to start to dive into spirituality over religion. You know, they put down the Bible, like, throw that shit away. You know, if they throw the Quran away, throw everything away, throw that shit out. I don't want it no more. You know, it hurt me as a kid. I'm now going to just dive into spirituality because I feel more comfortable. Like, it's like your soul is being fed once Chiron 9th house has found spirituality. Spirituality can be found in holistic nutrition, food, right? Diving deep into food, diving deep into astrology, diving deep into 8th house issues, you know, finding more out about the afterlife, death. Yeah, spirituality, astrology, astronomy, you name it. Anything to do with, like, below the surface. And these people are notorious for questioning religion. These people would have gone to school, they would have, and I've said this in my Mercury and Sag video as well, these people would definitely have questioned their religious figures and been like, okay, what is God? Is it a he? Is it a she? And they would always be disappointed with the answer. But the thing is, when it comes to your Chiron, it's like it's activated from early, but it all depends on where you are in your life, how you're going to leave that behind, how you're going to progress into spirituality, because people can be living in their Chiron ninth house for years and years and years and not realize how to escape it. But I find people tend to escape it from their teenage years as your mind starts to develop a whole lot more. So how can these people kind of turn this wound into a healer? I feel when it comes to these people, they need to, I don't want to say force themselves, but they do need to definitely mix with other cultures a whole lot more. You know, don't be easily thrown off by someone who speaks with a thick ass accent, you know, who eats different foods to you, smells differently to you, looks completely differently to you. But most likely you're gonna, not even most likely, but you need to just explore different people a whole lot more. And you're diving out, you're coming out of your Chiron ninth house. It can definitely bring some type of separation to your family, like and it all depends on what's aspects to the fourth as well, right? But it can possibly bring some separations to your family where, like, you know, this is too much, I don't want to be around this right now. But once you've found yourself, you know, you come back and you present yourself as a new person to your family, they may or may not accept it, but, you know, that's down to you how you deal with it. But that's just how Chiron tends to be. But these people are much happier within themselves, talking about spirituality. And also how you can also kind of turn it into a healer is by writing about your past, what you learn, how you experience things, and almost creating like a blog, you know, or even a book, because the ninth house is ruled by Sag, which is in opposition to the third house, which is Gemini, ruled by Gemini, Mercury. Gemini energy is amazing for writing, like they're skilled. So you guys should definitely learn to do a bit of writing, you know, because it's in opposition to your Chiron. And also look at your North Node, see what your North Node is saying, where it's placed, what direction you should be going. But to heal those wounds, do those things, okay? So that is my video on Chiron in the ninth house. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, people.